We have seen a very strange surge, everybody, in plane crashes, haven't we? It's a crazy spike. It's going nuts. And it coincides with President Trump becoming president and the establishment being really, really mad about that. I'm not saying there's a correlation or a tie, but let's go through it. The first one, on January 29th, the collision between the airliner and the helicopter, 67 dead. And it goes on like this. In Philadelphia, January 31st, 7 killed, 24 injured. Another plane crash in Ohio on February 5th. Another plane crash in Arkansas, also on February 5th. California, a plane goes down, February 9th. And actually, there was a really brutal collision. Alaska, the Alaska plane crash, you heard about that thing? We've never seen this kind of frequency, not since like the 1970s, 1980s maybe. Scottsdale, a plane goes down, 5 injured. New Hampshire, another plane crashes. Florida, there was a plane crash. By the way, we're leaving out some of the military crashes. An F-18 went down in San Diego. The Texas plane crash. Toronto, yesterday, by the way, or the day before, 18 injured in that weird landing. And Tucson, another horrible crash, 2 people killed. This is strange. Now, some of my friends tell me, oh, actually, Greg, statistically, it's on par. No, it's not. This is a rash, and I don't know. I'm suspicious. That crash in Toronto, can we talk about that again? I think that landing itself wasn't all that hard. If you go ahead and play it, please, that CR 900 rather, coming in, watch. Oh. I know I've seen harder landings, and you didn't see a flare. And actually, usually it takes several seconds for a plane to go from 10 feet to the ground. And take a look at this. We actually put some numbers in it. It's that plane landing from the cockpit, and you'll hear the computer, and we put little numbers up on the upper right that will flash when the number is stated by the computer. And you'll notice after 10 feet, there's a pretty big delay until the plane actually hits the ground. 10. It's like 10 full seconds, a second a foot for the final landing. We didn't see that in Toronto. It just went right through that 10 feet. We don't know. I do know this. Pilots are losing their minds like we've never seen before. Pilots have been losing their minds. I'm not talking about these women. Okay, we'll talk about them for now. There are only so many hours in the day for corporations to do what they do, whether it's making computers or flying planes. You don't have time to screw around in the cockpit or in the galley where the flight attendants hang out or anywhere else.
Girls, come on. Leave the saving the world to the men? I don't think so.
We have to turn the music off because the record companies get very nervous. But basically, you have a bunch of pilots and flight attendants clowning around on Delta Airlines, by the way, on company time, celebrating their gender. Not celebrating how well they fly the plane or how well they land or how softly they land, but being a woman, girl power. We don't know the gender of the people in the cockpit in Toronto, but we do know that Delta Airlines spent a lot of time doing stuff that they should not have been doing. These videos are all over TikTok. Delta isn't the only one, by the way. And the theory that Trump had something to do with this, well, thankfully, Delta is not afraid to tell the truth here. Gail King wanted them to go there, the boss of Delta Airlines, but he wouldn't, and good for that CEO.
The Trump administration recently fired many employees of the FAA administration. Do those cuts worry you, and do you think that impacts the safety? I know you just said it's the safest way to travel, but after looking at all these mishaps, a lot of people are very nervous. Do these cuts affect you?
The cuts do not affect us, Gail. I've been in close communication with the Secretary of Transportation. I understand that the cuts at this time are something that are raising questions, but the reality is there's over 50,000 people that work at the FAA, and the cuts, I understand, were 300 people, and they were in non-critical safety functions. The Trump administration has committed to investing deeply in terms of improving the overall technologies that are used in the air traffic control systems and modernizing the skies. They've committed to hiring additional controllers and investigators and safety investigators. So, no, I'm not concerned with that at all.
Well, thank you, sir, for not jumping on the anti-Trump bandwagon that they definitely wanted you to get on. I wonder what he would have done had Kamala Harris won the election. Nope, I think he would have done the right thing as well. But there have been pilot freakouts as well. Why is it? Is it because people are, I don't know, smoking more pot, staying on their phones too much, pilots storming the cockpit of their own airlines and trying to crash planes, sometimes successfully? This stuff is happening, and there's no explanation, except our society has gone totally insane over the past couple of years, hasn't it, right? You know, gender ideology is optional when you're a child and all that nonsense. There are a lot of strange things happening, and I do believe the results are, well, we just summarized some of them. Next, please. So this is Alice Marie Johnson. In 1996, she was sentenced to life in prison for a nonviolent first offense involving drugs. She was basically the telephone operator in some sort of a crack house. And, well, she got life in prison, but she was pardoned by Donald Trump. Remember, a first-time nonviolent drug offender. And this is the moment she got out of prison after she was pardoned by President Trump.
I'm free to hug my family. I'm free to start over. This is the greatest day of my life. My heart is just bursting with gratitude. I want to thank President Donald John Trump. Woo! Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
I think they aired that first during the Super Bowl. President Trump got to know Alice Marie Johnson. They spent time together in the Oval Office. She was on this show several times. We really, really like her and are so happy that she may be the pardon czar. Yes, President Trump is considering making Alice Johnson to be the pardon czar. She would be the chief coordinator in going through pardon applications and bringing them to the president's attention. And I think that's absolutely fabulous. Her story is such an important one.
In 1996, I began serving time in prison, life plus 25 years. I had never been in trouble. I was a first-time nonviolent offender. When President Trump heard about me, about the injustice of my story, he saw me as a person. He had compassion, and he acted. 6 months after President Trump granted me a second chance, he signed the First Step Act into law. It was real justice reform, and it brought joy, hope, and freedom to thousands of well-deserving people.
So I just love the idea that somebody who's been through the system, life in prison for answering the telephone, just might have a role in coordinating and bringing to the president's attention valid cases, viable cases for pardons. That is beautiful, kind of poetic too. Good luck to Alice Marie Johnson. I hope this happens. Next, please. So that big pike over there, that's a pike, a turnpike, a toll. Tolls have been around for a long, long time. They were established centuries ago. They got you to pay for the maintenance of the bridge or the road that they had just completed construction on. Those are the good old days. Now they become, well, a way for government to spread the revenue around government. Very rarely does it go into maintaining the bridge or the road. They take the money from the toll and they put it somewhere else. You may have heard of congestion pricing in New York City, this outlandish scheme where Orwellian cameras track your vehicle as it enters, well, not on a bridge or on a specific highway, but an entire section of New York, like Manhattan, like the whole damn borough, essentially. If you operate a motor vehicle in that borough below 60th Street, which is half the borough, you will get a $15 surcharge under the initial congestion pricing plan. Kathy Hochul, mad with power, the governor of New York State. This is Democrats at their very worst and at their truest, right? Mad taxation. President Trump today, it was beautiful, I expected this, said no. Congestion pricing is dead. Manhattan and all of New York. Long live the king. That's a little bit of a joke, like the king is doing this, but the king used to impose taxes. Remember taxes without representation? Well, this is what Kathy Hochul was trying to pull off. What they did was they said the Federal Transportation Department, Sean Duffy, he revoked approval of this plan. They had to submit it to the feds, and now that the feds are Donald Trump and Sean Duffy, they say no. Now look at this woman. She is irate that motorists will be able to drive into a huge portion of New York City that has been free since the Dutch came here and started the damn place. Look at how it's almost like she's arguing the reverse. This is how politicians are supposed to sound when they're fighting taxes. She wants taxes here.
The streets of this city where battles were fought, we stood up to a king, and we won then. And we will, in case you don't know, New Yorkers, we're in a fight. We do not back down, not now, not ever. Because who are we fighting for here? We're fighting for our residents, our commuters, our riders, our drivers, our emergency personnel. Life has gotten better. Even those who have asthma, people with illness. That's who we're fighting for.
Well, this is insanity. She can't make that case because it's not true. And they just started this thing a couple of weeks ago. She says the data shows that. No commuter in the world wants to pay $15 more to go anywhere. A very foolish woman. And remember, Andrew Cuomo picked her because she's a foolish woman. One more.
And then you have others involved. I mean, it feels like the commuters of our city and our region are now the roadkill on Donald Trump's revenge tour against New York.
What the hell was that? We couldn't be happier. New York just might vote Republican in 2028. It's been going closer and closer and closer. And now, in another display of her power, right? She says the cameras are staying on. They can't charge you anymore, but she wants to watch you as you drive around a region of New York City. It is crazy. And you know who does this? You know, the only city in the world that does this is this place, the Islamist capital of the UK, London. You see what's going on over there? It's totally insane. And yeah, congestion pricing in London, which is going down the tubes, is flourishing. I'll give her that. All right, next, please.
Show me the money. Show me the money. That's what it's all about.
Who could have thought that State Senator Eric Adams giving his first speech on his money, how much money he believes he's owed by the state, could have ended in an indictment on corruption charges, but it did, right? A lot of folks saw this coming for a long, long time. Now, President Trump, I love him, but I think he got this one wrong. He told the Department of Justice to drop the case against Eric Adams. Now, a lot of people think that Eric Adams was targeted by the Biden administration because for one brief, shining moment, he came out with some tough words about their insane immigration policies. And he did. For one time.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. 110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.